Hey, you. Yeah, right there. Yes, you. Want to learn about some sustainability? Let's get started. Weddings are a huge part of one's culture for so many people worldwide. However, as we are seeing across multiple sectors of our lives, the planet is in desperate need of our help in order to maintain life as we know it. The average wedding produces about 400 pounds of waste, and there are about 2.4 million weddings each year in the United States alone. This amounts to nearly 960 million pounds of waste each year in just the U.S. When it comes to working towards a sustainable wedding, the first step is deciding what aspects of the wedding ceremony and reception are actually important to you and your partner. Deciding what you can and cannot live without on your big day will not only help to reduce waste, but it helps cut back on cost as well. One example of this could be opting to use simple centerpieces versus extravagant centerpieces with large floral arrangements. The next and second biggest step in making your wedding more environmentally friendly is selecting a venue that is eco-friendly and shares the same mission and values as you towards sustainability. Take a thorough look at their website and don't be hesitant to ask questions about how that venue is actively working to reduce their carbon footprint. Don't fall victim to greenwashing. Greenwashing can be defined as expressions of environmentalist concerns, especially as a cover for products, policies, or activities, according to Merriam-Webster. With the growing emphasis of protecting our planet, we are seeing more and more companies use being eco-friendly as a marketing tool versus a cause they truly care about. The same principle applies to vendors. Selecting vendors who are also consciously trying to reduce waste and adopt more sustainable practices will immensely help your wedding become more green. One example of this could be working with a baker who has biodegradable packaging for their cakes, cupcakes, and other desserts. Classic stationery for save the dates, invitations, and RSVPs are something many brides and grooms just can't give up. However, using recycled paper is a great start if digital options are something you do not want to consider. If you and your partner are open to digital options, utilizing a save-the-date video or website for RSVPs are two excellent choices. One factor to consider is still opting for recycled traditional paper invites and RSVPs for guests who may not be as tech-savvy. Another suggestion for making your wedding more sustainable is considering second-hand bridesmaid dresses and renting tuxes. This eliminates the need for another article of clothing to be made, as all the options are already in existence. If you really want to be as sustainable as possible, consider asking members of the bridal party to wear gowns, dresses, suits, or other clothes they already have. Mixing and matching different patterns, styles, and colors is actually trending right now, too. After the wedding, consider donating any clothing items that were purchased that do not hold a large amount of emotional attachment. It is also great to encourage guests to wear clothes they already own. Something I would have never thought of myself is seeking out ethical and sustainable brands for the engagement ring or rings and the wedding bands. This means doing some research on brands and looking at where and how they source their diamonds or other gems. There are brands out there able to use recycled gold for the band and diamonds that have been purchased at a fair price. If you are someone who loves vintage style, another option to consider is purchasing a secondhand ring from an antique store or online marketplace. You may find an incredibly unique ring to show off while also following sustainable practices. This is a great time for me to mention how important it is to strive to use brands and companies that follow not only sustainable, but also ethical practices across the board throughout your wedding planning process. Have you ever heard the phrase, "you vote with your wallet"? Well, it's true. Every dollar spent on your wedding that goes toward an ethical and sustainable purchase, you are saying that saving the planet and its inhabitants is important to you. The decor is one aspect of weddings that can easily create large amounts of waste if you're not careful and conscious during the decision-making process. Keeping it simple is the easiest step a couple can take in their wedding planning process. Other helpful ideas are to reuse wine bottles or small glass jars to hold floral arrangements and candle centerpieces. Throwing confetti at the newlywed couple as they exit their ceremony is something that has lasting impacts on the environment. Even paper confetti that is biodegradable can cause harm to the land and potentially animals if it has been coated in dyes. One alternative to consider is birdseed, or simply to forgo the tradition altogether. Other reception considerations, such as linens, plates, cutlery, and glassware, are all things that can be rented to avoid excess waste. Talk with your venue, caterer, and wedding planner to see if they have rental options already available to you. If not, there are many rental companies with a large variety of excellent choices. Another way to be more sustainable is opting for an edible cake topper versus a traditional plastic topper. Food and beverage are an area where couples can make great strides in helping the planet if they choose to be conscious of the impact they may have on the environment. Choosing caterers who use local ingredients and produce will help to reduce the carbon footprint while also boosting the local economy. Whether you decide to go with a plated meal or a buffet, there is bound to be food left over. Boxing up as many leftovers as possible for either the couple or family to take home will help to reduce the amount of food that goes wasted. For food that isn't salvageable, consider having bins ready to collect it for composting to keep the food out of landfills. Considering about 1/3 of food is never eaten in the U.S., a focus on eco-friendly food and beverage is a great way to really make a large impact on keeping your wedding sustainable. Avoiding plastic water bottles is also one very easy and effective option. When it comes to florals, there is so much to be done to avoid beautiful arrangements simply getting tossed in the trash. If you feel confident you have a green thumb, you may want to consider planting your own flowers. However, if that is not quite your thing, you can still find ways to donate your flowers after the wedding to keep them out of the trash. One option is to find a local shelter, hospital, or nursing home and make prior arrangements for the florals to be donated after the ceremony or reception. Another option is to encourage guests to take an arrangement home with them to enjoy for a few weeks after the wedding. Your partner and you could also save some flowers to have dried and pressed as a keepsake of your special day. There are endless possibilities when it comes to wedding planning, even in a sustainable way. There are also endless resources to turn to after this video. Blogs and social media accounts from those who have successfully held sustainable weddings are excellent places to look for sparks of inspiration. One of my favorite accounts for eco-friendly tips is at Impact for Good on Instagram and TikTok. She just happened to have recently gotten married and shares how she kept her wedding sustainable, so this would be an excellent resource to utilize. Now, when it comes to guest favors, some trends of the industry that are also quite eco-friendly are reusable drinkware, snack options, or magnets. One option that I personally love is allowing guests to select a nonprofit to receive a donation from you and your partner. This not only enriches the community around you, but there is essentially zero waste involved. To wrap it all up, deciding what really matters to you and your partner in creating a special day, choosing vendors and a venue who share the same sustainable mission, and avoiding as many single-use plastics as possible are the top 3 ways to make your wedding a green one. The key is to focus on being more sustainable, not exhausting yourself over trying to be perfectly waste-free. If every wedding produced even 50% less waste over the next year, 480 million pounds of garbage could be kept out of landfills. We are less than a decade away from reaching a point where climate change is irreversible, so the time to start acting is now. I would like to leave you with a challenge. Obviously, bringing sustainable practices into your wedding planning process is important, but slowly implementing more and more sustainable practices into your everyday life holds even more significance in the grand scheme of things. It doesn't have to be all at once, but gradually, over time, making small changes or switches in your daily routine will prove to have monumentous impacts. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video and learn from it. But an even larger thank you for having the heart to invest in this planet and its resources in a positive, ethical, and sustainable way.